Hi, this is Nick Dawson, the editor-in-chief of Talkhouse Film, and you're listening to the Talkhouse Film podcast. Stand-up comedian Ari Shaffir's Comedy Central show, This Is Not Happening, feels weirdly old-fashioned, in a good way. First aired on the Comedy Central website, and now in its second season on Comedy Central itself, it's impressively simple in its concept. Comedians telling true stories. Or, mostly true stories. At a time when there are rules about how long, or rather how short, something needs to be in order to go viral, these are stories that luxuriate in the time taken to tell them, sometimes running as long as 20 minutes. The show has had some great guests: Rob Corddry, Henry Rollins, Mark Maron, Kumail Nanjiani, and Keegan-Michael Key, to name just a few. Raconteurs who spin yarns that are consistently funny, but also by turns dark, thoughtful, and sometimes even kind of sweet. For anyone who's coming late to the party, past episodes of the show are readily available online and are as good a way as any to make a whole day disappear. To coincide with the current second season of This Is Not Happening, Shaffir did a Talkhouse podcast with one of the most recent guests on his show, Artie Lange, the larger-than-life comic known for his stints on Mad TV and The Howard Stern Show, as well as his very public battles with substance addiction. Lange's first contribution to This Is Not Happening, about him trying to score coke while shooting the famous Babe Watch Mad TV skit, is a very apt introduction to him and his work. Both Shaffir and Lange are honest and direct as comedians. What they discuss here very much reflects that, whether it's them talking about their respective experiences visiting Amsterdam, Ari eating tarnished baked goods, or Artie's tales of his time in LA County Jail, working as a Santa in a strip club, and his memorable encounter with Dave Navarro and Carmen Electra. It's not just war stories, though, as the two also dig into subjects such as censorship, pushing the boundaries of acceptability, and the resulting Twitter backlash, the fortunate position they're in as comics compared to the lives their grandparents had, and they start by talking about how radically New York City has changed since they moved there.
Times Square, too, we used to go take the bus into Times Square, and I would get fake IDs. I was like 14 years old. A guy showed me a driver's license. And he said, the guy said to me, I'll never forget this as I'm leaving. He goes, "You want a pilot license?" I said, "What?" He goes, "An air pilot." I said, "You can sell me an airplane pilot license?" I said, "How much is that?" He goes, $18. And the guy,
for fake IDs, it's way more creative than just some license from Florida.
The guy made it sound like I was failing every class in high school in the 10th grade. The guy made it sound like if I bought this for him for $18, I could be like the pilot on the Orlando flight that afternoon at 1 from Newark.
It would work. It could actually work.
I got to get your uniform, too. What size I got to fit? I mean, Times Square was just a place right where the Lion King is now, there'd just be a guy there with a blender for no reason, walking around with a blender.
And junkie.
A guy with a knitting needle coming out of his forehead. And, it just, Giuliani took all that Disney money and...
he said, "We're going to clean this up," right? He was
Giuliani
like, "You guys are all gone. Here's
he had
notice."
enough, yeah. I mean, Disney said, "Look, we'll just do... we got all this entertainment we have the rights to. We can make these plays, and we'll take all those theaters. We'll just as is." And he took the money,
Oh, really?
Why not?
Dude, it seems like all the cool old places, they just get this whitewash, or even the Vegas Strip ain't dangerous anymore. All those places you heard, ooh, I heard the Bowery, everything is just it's just
where we're sitting right now.
now.
We're sitting in the meatpacking district. This looks like Disney built the ride of the meatpacking district.
You're right.
The one I remember, you could they just I think they shut down Hogs and Heifers, right? The Coyote,
what is that?
The Coyote Ugly Bar.
Oh,
and that was a block from here. It was a block down there. They just shut the place down. But I remember there's a pool table there. I remember doing coke off the pool table. There were lines during a game of 8-ball.
But the felt wouldn't that ruin it?
Literally a game of 8-ball, part of the pun. There'd be lines all around, all down the thing, and you would take quarter, do a line, and shoot.
Really? Every shot?
If you have any tolerance.
If we were Jews, it would have been like, no, you got to sink. You got to sink the 8 before you can take a line.
It was so out of control. This place was gritty. Really dangerous. And then there was, people selling steaks.
Right next to it.
Yeah, right next to it. So, it had to happen, though. The city was dying, The show you're doing now has got a great feel to it because they seem to leave you alone, right? As far as the networks, they're cool.
Comedy Central's you seem like you know what you're doing.
Right. The last couple of specials I did at Comedy Central, I must say I was pleasantly surprised with they just didn't meddle at all. I couldn't believe the stuff.
It's a new crew over there. I think they knew, in the 90s and early 2000s, were we got a bad rap for this. So they're like, hey, artists, do whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it really is a very loose. Doing it at a strip club was a great idea.
Strip club, right?
Yeah.
That's great. I tried to get that pole out of there.
Oh yeah,
and they were like, we'll look into that. And the owner's like, we can't remove a pole. It was built here before the strip club. We built it around the pole.
I was holding up Charlie Chaplin's garage.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Cheetahs out there?
Yeah, I was there. I was sitting in a different. We were directly opposite. I wasn't on stage that time.
Yeah,
I was sitting in the audience. It was weird to be in a strip club and have the view of the stripper. Everyone does look like a loser.
Sitting there watching me. What's wrong with you, you idiots? Do something with your lives.
Well, from this viewpoint, you all look like losers.
Are you a big strip club guy?
No, I was never the kind of guy who got dinner at the strip club. I loved going when I was a kid. There was a lot of bars. Again, the 80s were the mid 80s were very much an extension of the 70s. It didn't really change until the early 90s, I think.
Really?
Everything got really uptight. And we could get into strip clubs when I was 16, 17. So at that point, it was unbelievable.
Wait, what do you mean? They wouldn't care?
Yeah, but outside Newark, there was a strip club in Newark.
You grew up in Newark?
Yeah, in Newark, New Jersey, called Buns Ain't No Bakery. That was the name of the strip club. And I would play Santa there on Christmas when I was like 18.
Really?
And the guy hired me to be Santa Claus, and all the strippers would come and sit on my lap, and they have all this blow and everything. And the next day, my mother would be putting out like the 7 fishes, the Italian. And I swear to God, I would still have the beard on. I would wake up with the beard on from Santa, and I'd be getting ready for Christmas. And if you hit the beard, like enough coke would fall out of it to get you like 6 months for possession with intent.
Your mom's like, what's that smell? I'm like, it's chlamydia, Mom.
I'm hitting the...
To have it all pour out of there.
It's a snow globe.
It's a white Christmas. When did you first get into coke? When did you first get into that?
When I was, I had friends. Anyone who had an older brother in the early '80s seemed to have drugs. And I first did it in the mid 17 maybe.
17.
Then,
your older brother gives it to you?
Well, I didn't have one, but I had friends who had an older brother, and they all had, again, nothing had changed yet. You could, guys would drink and drive. I had cases of beer in the front seat, and cops really didn't care, and, everything was loose. So a lot of kids started dealing in like the 7th grade and everything, and it was just around. But when I started making money on my own as a longshoreman, I really got into it.
Really?
Yeah.
You had cash and no responsibilities?
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nobody does more of that stuff than like waiters, like new people, like 22, 23, 24. It's like, I don't need all this money.
Right.
So they just live like, cartel people.
And I took the problem out to L.A. I went out to L.A. to do Mad TV. I never struggled in Los Angeles. I did all my struggling here.
That's good.
And I had enough connections here to where I could get it without having to. So,
recommend me to West Coast.
What happened? The story I told on your show last night. I always said to myself, how much different would my life had been if the guy in New York said, "No, I don't know anybody." It would have been a much different situation. Because I was going out to a job, $10,000 a week I was making,
which is unbelievable. Money.
Yeah, well, I mean, come on, yeah. I would literally get the check from the Mad TV accountant's office. I was at William Morris. I go, no, don't send it to them. Give it to me. And what are they going to do? Give me $9. And I would cash it, and I would send my mother $5,000. I Western Union my mom 5 G's for whatever she needed, and I put $5,000 in my pocket, and I rolled around LA like I was Jack Nicholson.
$5,000 in cash in your pocket.
I just put it in my pocket for the weekend
and just live large.
Yeah, and
hell yes.
You just go to a cold reading class, all the broads you could pick up with 5 G's in your pocket. So then it amplified to where now I have this fun life that I always dreamed of at 27 years old, and $10,000 a week. I'm on TV every week, and I'm like, women and.
How much are you spending on the powder?
I don't know. Probably by the end. When I got arrested, I was probably spending $3,000 a week.
A week? Three a week?
Because I was having it delivered. I was doing very, very scary stuff.
Wow. Why is that scary?
Well, because I was having it delivered to the studio, like a PA who just got a UCLA.
The studio? I thought you meant to your home.
Well, I was always at the studio.
You weren't worried about losing your job?
Yeah, but,
Yeah.
I was more worried about not doing coke.
God.
But that's true addiction. It's physical. It's when it becomes, I need this to live. And that's the whole point of that story. you know, I didn't realize the humor in that story I told until, like, you know, I was in rehab telling it. And everybody's like, wow, I was killing it in group therapy. You know, it was just a jaded life. And, I went to a bachelor party in Amsterdam when I was on the Stern Show. One of the kids who worked in the back got married. He did a bachelor party in Amsterdam, and I went. And they didn't have any money, and I was like, I'm not staying at the Marriott. So I got this hotel, and it was like 5-star hotel, and I felt so bad. I never saw the kids the rest of, we left the airport, and I said, I'll meet you for dinner. I never saw them. I didn't go to the bachelor party. I was there for 5 days. I went to the red light district, and I got like a hooker. I got like the money I got like an Arizona 9. And she came back, and she could get, you know.
Wait, Phoenix, they have hot girls. What do you mean Arizona?
She was gorgeous.
Oh, okay. You're saying it's good.
And yeah. And for a couple of grand, you know, me and this girl stayed in my room, my bedroom, my suite I had at the Dillon Hotel overlooking the canal for 3 days. We didn't leave. And I said, yeah, snorting, crushing oxys and snorting them. The room looked like, you know, the room looked like Bruce Valanche kicked coke for 2 weeks or something. That's what it smelled like.
You don't get them made when you're doing that, right?
No, we're like, everything's fine. More towels.
They're not. Like, I saw the sign. You saw the sign.
Your hand comes out like Thing on the Addams Family. I want more towels. You don't let her see it. But I left her like $1,000 tip, basically to shut her up. So I said, I got to get out of here. We're in Amsterdam. It's like I might as well be in Sea Caucus. I'm in a hotel room. So we got into one of those canals, a tour. In the canal. And the kid was like one of the Hitler Youth, the kid doing the tour. But this kid, it was so funny. He must have been he talked in that Hitler accent, and he went, "That's the Anne Frank house." And very sad. He goes, "Very sad what happens there. Very sad." I go, "Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, Anne Frank." And he puts his head down, and he counted, I guess, the normal amount where you mourn. And he picked his head up, got real excited, and went, "And that is a great place for pancakes."
Right next to it. Me and Morrissey went there. Me and Paul Morrissey went there. Totally. Grilled cheese and pancakes right next to the Anne Frank house. It's delicious.
And how right was he?
Oh, he's so right. It's amazing.
What a great recommendation.
The Stroopwafels. Delicious. I mean, she did not die in vain.
You're smoking hash. Don't smoke hash before you go to the Anne Frank house. You're walking around going, "Oh, she had plenty of room." What is it? You know, and I smoked hash and I ate those pancakes. I was never more happy in my life.
You know what I like about you and your drug use? Is that you still maintain this like normal, like in that story you told, it was still like a regret over leaving not enough money for the maid to clean up. You're like, "Oh, I feel so bad about it." Instead of like most drug stories I hear, it's like that's not what you feel bad about, but you maintain this normal attitude about it.
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny. You get very cynical about everything. Not only you know, showbiz things, but even stuff like that. That's when LA sort of really takes your soul. I mean, there's be a lot of these agents who like there's nothing that they or producers. There's nothing too dark for their sensibility. Like, can laugh about anything. A dead hooker, you know, whatever, you know.
Right. That's the point, I guess, to see the entertainment in it, right?
Well, I think they want to be known as the most cosmopolitan people. Like, nothing offends us. You can't offend me. It means I have power over me. Like, anything you say doesn't shock me, type of thing.
Oh yeah.
New York's like that, and LA has it too. I mean, you realize stuff does shock.
Well, New York at some point it's because like you've seen everything. So like, me and Big J were walking, and some guy was in front of us, and he just had an accordion out, and then and then Jay's like, "Did you notice that accordion?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess I did." It was like you just don't notice stuff; it's everywhere.
Yeah,
like it's not a regular instrument.
Was that guy's ears bleeding? Yeah,
yeah, I think it might have been a little bit.
Well, New York, you do, yeah. But
I saw some. You ever see somebody that's trying not to be offended by anything, and it's like it's too much?
Yeah. That's when it's like, let your guard down. You're a little. You've never seen a midget on fire. Come on.
yeah. Be shocked by something, man.
Well,
Let it in.
It's like they try to act like a lot of comics are like this too. Like, I've seen it all.
Yeah.
Well, no, you haven't. You know.
I was on Big J's podcast. Somebody and Lewis was opening up mail from his fans. One of them was cookies, and I was hungry as hell. And I was like, "Yeah, give me that fucking cookie." And I ate one, and he goes, "Oh, Ari, we have like a running thing about people like jizzing on baked goods." And I was like, "What?" And then I realized it was just in a Ziploc bag, and it hit us like I definitely ate semen. Yeah, like there's no doubt about it. The guy later tweeted in, he's like, "Yeah, for sure, I came on that. I don't know why you'd eat it."
Like, what guy sent them food? Like, it wasn't, like he's letting food out of whatever his house is.
But then when we were doing it, so it was like, ugh, I can't believe I just did that. And then some girl comic was like, I'll do it. I'll eat it. We're like, it's not a dare, lady.
Shut up.
You feel bad about it. Don't like get into it.
You don't have to be one of the boys all the time. Yeah, that's another thing that's going on. Chicks were, acting like guys so much. Like talk about like, no, you're grossing me out.
But it's an act. It's like when I hung out with my black friends in college and I try to like talk more black than normal. And I'm like, just be yourself, idiot.
Yeah.
That's not who you are, you know what I mean? Just be you.
I studied some bubonics for this party.
You ever see that Tarantino thing where he starts talking extra black on an interview?
Yeah.
I love it.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
Like black people have there's a rapper Chub Rock that I got to be friends with. He was living in the Chelsea Hotel in the mid-'90s. And my friend Orlando Jones, black kid, he was my roommate for the last year and a half at Mad TV. He was friends with him. So I had a great night with them, and we picked Chub Rock up at Chelsea Hotel. And it just reminds me how white people and black people talk differently. And, black people just sound cooler with certain questions. Like I said, Orlando was a vegan, and we were going to a restaurant that he picked out. I didn't want to eat. I said to him, can you have red meat there, like steak, because I want to eat? He goes, yeah. That's how I asked him. Chub Rock got in the car, and he asked it this way. He went, they got any food for carnivores up in his mouth? I was like, well, same question. He wanted the same information, just way cooler.
Way cooler.
They got any food for carnivores up in his mouth?
You're like, oh, I want to say it like that from now on.
The way he said carnivore. Carnivore.
You got to say it like that, too. You can't just say carnivores. I'm a carnivore, so if you have any sustenance for me, as a carnivore.
Yeah, the carnivores. Carnivore.
It's just a cooler way of talking.
It's perfect. Yeah. You can't get away with it when you're white. The white kids are trying to do that. No matter how good
I remember
you are.
discovering
like,
black
great.
culture and going, oh, I'm lame.
Right. Eminem's great at it. Even he annoys me.
Nothing's worse than like an older white guy trying to rap for the first time.
Well, yeah. I never thought rap was like a talent. Until I heard someone who couldn't rap. You go, wow, Snoop Dogg is very talented at this.
That's kind of stand-up comedy is, huh?
Yeah.
Like it's super easy. And you see people like, oh, you're terrible.
Well,
okay,
people realize that you do it long enough, we make it look easy. Like, it's like anything else. Yeah, and we still get crapped on, comics. People still think it's easier than it is.
How come you think that, because I feel like it's like we're the ones where like PC culture is attacking more than TV and film and any sort of entertainment. Like, seems like why do you think that is, or it is even true?
Because I think there's no real definite one type of music that teenagers are into. Again, it's so sporadic. Like, so there's no one to attack in that area. And I think in a lot of ways,
because just musicians.
Yeah, I mean, that are popular enough to where you make an impact attacking them. I think a lot of teenage kids are more comedy's kind of like their rock to what rock was to us. Comedy is to them in a way. And if you see some of these kids who come to the Comedy Cellar from around the country, like those comedy nerds or whatever,
it's getting to be that way.
They come up and they make a pilgrimage there. That they see somebody they know.
That's at the Comedy Stores. You see people like, I've been waiting for this trip for 2 years.
I could not believe the Comedy Store.
How packed it is now, right?
I hadn't been there in a couple of years. I was there doing some stuff. I went on a Thursday night.
Jesus.
And it was insane.
Dude, we used to wait. I worked the cover booth there.
Yeah.
And we had a rule by Mitzi, until there's 6 people here, you can't start the show. When the show started at 9, we wouldn't start till 10, 10:30.
Unbelievable.
Waiting for 6 people. And now it's sold out before it even starts.
The Comedy Cellar, it's a much smaller venue, obviously, but
mobbed every night.
7 days a week, 3 shows a night is sold out. They open up, Village Underground now.
I told my buddy that. I was like, I just got off stage at 2:30. He's in LA. He goes, is anybody there at 2:30? I'm like, yeah, man. It was completely full.
It's like Studio 54 or something. People go there, celebrities go there not to do comedy, just to hang out.
Just to hang, yeah.
That's great and everything, but it changes it. And I think because comedy is that, and there's no real music like that, they sort of realize they'll get more publicity attacking.
I think it's part of it too, is because like we're talking as ourselves, saying things that we put out as our opinion. So they're like, this is not an actor. You're not doing a part. This is just you. You're saying this. And you're like, yeah, but it's not exactly.
And when I got a little bit of a name, even it's like C-list or something, I was like, I said, where I seem to have plateaued. I said, I'm not gonna. You know what? Forget it. I'm just not gonna worry about censoring myself at all. I mean, if I do it on TV, I'll try not to curse. I'm not talking about, but I'm just gonna talk about whatever I want to.
Yeah.
And on the Stern days, no one gave me crap because they wanted me. I was selling so many tickets, and you get jaded. You're like, talk about whatever you want
On Stern.
Yeah, and doing stand up around the country. They're like, you know. And
yeah, it's complete freedom. They even said in here, they're like, watch the cursing. I'm like, oh, you're talking to two guys who never watch the cursing.
Right.
So
I mean, I talk.
We have to think about this now.
Right. It's so foreign to me to watch a documentary about what Lenny Bruce went through and all that stuff, and then I have felt none of that. God bless them for going through it. I mean, to think Lenny Bruce got arrested for saying the F word on stage in San Francisco.
Oh, the most forward. Town in the country.
Yeah, that's I can't believe that. And then certainly what Howard did on the radio, and then like by the time I got there, I'm like, I don't feel any until the Janet Jackson thing. But then we went to Sirius. I mean, there's nothing we can't say.
You were on FM when that Janet Jackson thing. When that happened to me, I guess I just started stand up, and so it didn't affect me as an open micer. But like, it seemed like everything on TV and the radio was like this like whitewashed thing now because one boob fell out.
Terrible. Well,
what does this have to do with us cursing?
Bush saw the family values angle, and it's an election year. There was a lot that went into that, That happened in January of 2004, at the Super Bowl, and he's going to get, he's got election coming up and all that. Those people vote, those family values people.
They really do.
When
they do the
Trump is tapping into, those people vote,
Whenever they do the box office numbers, they don't include the Christian movies because those win. Those would win all the top 10 movies of the year were all Christian movies.
I'm going to make my angle. We should make an angle of the Passion thing.
Yeah, we should.
Every year they do it. It makes money.
Yeah.
They retell that story.
Here's a movie about how Jesus was awesome.
Well, this year it's almost like he's Bruce Willis in The Last Boy Scout.
Yeah.
You're Jesus.
They should make a real action movie with Jesus, like real special effects,
it's getting to that.
Yeah, they really should. That would kill it.
It's like Lethal Weapon. But yeah, it's so.
Do you feel the attack at all?
Well, on Howard, I said, listen, I'd been on there for 3 years by the time that happened. And then when it happened, I saw what he was talking about growing up listening to him because they put a 30-second delay on us, which in radio
30.
is insane.
Instead of 3 or 5.
Right. And,
wow.
And you really realize, like, everything I'm saying, people aren't here until 30 seconds later. So anything in that time frame, which is a lot, whatever you say. So I really got mad, and I saw his anger because I would...
He didn't like being tied down back then?
Well, a lot of times my buddies would call me up. They work construction. They listen to the whole show. Yeah. And they would call me up, and it always made me feel good. They would go, that thing you said was so funny that no one heard it. Howard was talking. And I always liked that review. And that was happening less and less, and I realized...
What was happening less and less?
They weren't hearing it because it got cut out. And that really
every commercial, they would catch up on the 30 seconds, right?
Yeah, that really got me mad.
That sucks. Because you're like, no, I wanted to say that.
Right. They weren't hearing my jokes.
Oh.
And that got me so aggravated creatively. And I saw, and he was going to quit. I really think he would have quit. And then
Stern over that sort of thing.
Yeah,
he was a real free speech guy.
Yeah, he's being persecuted, and then of course he got kicked out of that persecution mindset when he got $100 million a year.
And then he thinks, oh, everything's fine.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go for us.
It's tough to keep your standards when you're bathing in money.
$100 million.
He goes, oh, that's what Tom Cruise does in 5 movies.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I'll just take it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I think comics in general, not all of them, I guess the ones that are on the line, I guess, hate that, like, censorship, hate that idea of, like, can't you just not say this?
Right.
Like, no, I can't not say anything.
It's an attack on exactly what we do. You know, and now it's starting to, the first generation of people going to the shows, young people going to see the shows, are offended by stuff. And it makes me so mad. When a 23-year-old adult, a male, 23-year-old male, if I say something that makes him go, ooh, like what can there's nothing. When I was 23, you'd have to hit my mother with a bat to offend me.
Yeah.
What did I say that made you go, ugh? I told a joke, when the guy got strangled, the cop strangled the guy in Staten Island selling the Lucy's, the cigarettes.
Eric Garner?
Eric Garner. Yeah. And after that happened, I Can't Breathe was a big thing.
Yeah.
And I had a joke that I did at the cellar. And, and I said, listen, I'm all for these protesters, but their slogans, they got to change because it's affecting my sex life. I was having sex with a black chick the other day, and out of nowhere she yelled out, I can't breathe. And I said, listen, can we leave politics out of this?
Instead of just fat guy smothering her.
Yeah, there's just a fat guy joke. It turns out, I said, no, you're on me. You know, I really can't breathe. So I did it at the Cellar one night, and it killed. I mean, because it just had happened. It was people were. I was proud of the audience. They were kind of shocked, and then they laughed. They got it.
Yeah.
One woman goes up to one of the managers and says, "What was that guy's name?" And she tweets out what I had said out of context.
Out of context, always.
And this guy, me and David Teller.
It just wasn't funny. Well, the crowd laughed. So I don't know
me and Teller having a cigarette. She comes out, Val from the Cellar. And says, you go on Twitter, you got to look at it. I look at it, and I showed Attell, and he's like, it's unbelievable. He goes, these people aren't prepared for what they're about to see. And I said, so what should I do? I said, I'm not explaining.
You don't have to explain it. Here's the deal. Mark Twain would never explain what he meant in Huck Finn. It's like the artist is not supposed to tell you guys.
Yeah.
Watch the whole thing. Don't read a page out of a book and say this is wrong.
Well, it's context. They don't get context. And the cool thing was I went on Sherrod and Kurt's podcast. Every black comic showed up. Michael Che came and Greer and all those guys. Were like,
and what they said?
They supported me. They were like, "What are you doing?" You know, it's like because they get it.
So, well, here's the deal. Here's what I think. When people say comedy's under attack, it's a terrible time. I think no, those attacks don't do anything.
Right.
It's just you get a little Twitter heat for like a few days or weeks. And then it goes away completely. And more people that are into dirty comedy go, "Ooh, Artie Lange's pushing the boundaries. I want to see that."
If they're going to protest, it's like over that thing, people said we're going to protest the next show. I was like, I'm begging you.
Please.
That would be the best thing.
I would love to take pictures with you out there.
We'll tweet it out.
I used to get death threats for those Amazing Racist videos on MySpace. I'm going to kill you. I'm like, well, my tour schedule's right on my page. So make sure to come out. I'm sure I'll be somewhere where you can take a bus.
Either we're going to sell tickets or I'm going to die in a way cooler way than I probably would have anyway. People say, well, what do you think hell is like? And people are the fire and stuff. No, to me, it's way more realistic. To me, a hell is like you die, and when you wake up, you're in the Comedy Cellar bathroom, and it's just you and, like, say, Patrice.
And the
devil goes, you can never leave. And he's watching.
He's just continuously shitting.
No, Patrice, at least it'll be fun. Like, it'll be like, it's like the unfunny version of it. You and Eric Garner.
Yeah, right.
And he's out of Lucy's.
So he's just mad about it.
And then you can never leave. Bye. You're in that bathroom for eternity.
I had a rabbi when I was religious say the afterlife, heaven and hell is the same thing. It's just an open Talmud. And if you do the work on this world, then you'll enjoy it. And if you didn't, it'll be hell for you.
Right. Hell exists. I was in LA County Jail for a couple months, okay?
Months?
Yeah.
Were you really?
I did real time. I was never so happy to be fat and ugly in my life in those showers, I'll tell you that.
Was there that stuff going on?
Well, no, I didn't see anything like that. It was only jail, but, put it this way. I didn't see anybody who looked like Blair Underwood.
Were there any stabbings or anything?
There were always fights, but I had my own cell. I was technically a celebrity because I was on Mad TV.
Oh,
and the guards were like, that's why you're a celebrity?
Like, I don't know if this qualifies. Like, please let it qualify.
That's not a celebrity.
You're like, that's a Saturday night show after 11.
Come on, it's on television.
Yeah.
I'll never forget this. It's a true story. The guards had all these sort of offensive ethnic names. All the different ethnic groups would congregate in certain cell areas.
They'd all separate?
Yeah. And they had names for each ethnic group. Like I think like the Italian, like the mob guys would be like the greasy cell, something like that. And they didn't have any name for the black. And I said, guys, do you have a name for the black cell? I said, I was so excited. He goes, I said, I got the perfect name. And they go, I said, the sickle cell block. I said this to a couple of guards. I really said this. I go, guys, I've never thought of anything that great. The sickle cell block. And I said, you got to use that. You got to, please.
Where was that? Where I got to go to that
LA
jail
County.
And see if that's still
LA
in use.
County. And I said, they go, no, we're not going to do that. I go,
why?
Well, you're offended by it? What do you mean? And so then, true story, I'm leaving. A couple days later, I'm getting my shit together to leave. And I overhear one of the guards say that to the other guard. He said sickle cell block. I said, there's no way that guy made that up.
He's not creative enough. It already went around.
There's no way Gardo Houlihan made that up. I bet they're still using it. and I get nothing. But that proves we're like a comic. You just like my life was over. I'm in jail, that got me so excited. I smiled because I thought of that.
Yeah, in prison. Yeah, I guess little joys, right?
I was in the joint.
It's like that. What's that Holocaust movie where the guy tries to make everyone smile and laugh?
Oh, Life is Beautiful.
Life is Beautiful.
Like his kid's in Auschwitz with him.
Yeah,
and he tries to make his kid. I didn't see it. He tries to make his kid think it's a game or something, so he doesn't realize. Yeah.
My grandmother, when they were in a camp, work camp.
They were?
Yeah.
Your grandmother?
Yeah, and she would trade loaves of bread for tutors for my dad and my aunts and uncles.
No kidding.
Yeah, because she was like, if we ever get out of here, I mean, you got to have an education.
That is something else, man. Wow, think of that.
I wanted to ask, because I think about those normal moments like that, and I interviewed these Holocaust survivors once, a couple. And they met in a concentration camp.
Right.
And I pussed out. I pussed out, but I wanted to ask, like...
Well, I wonder, I never thought of that. I wonder how common that was. They met in the camp.
They met in a concentration camp.
Man.
Yeah. He died recently, but like...
what strength. The greatest thing you could have said, it's 2016, you said they died recently. That's the greatest thing ever.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's this shockingly high amount of Holocaust survivors that are living past 100. They're doing the studies. And I think it just goes to show the benefits of a diet low in trans fats.
They could deal with anything.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, but I wanted to ask them because they would talk through the fence because they had boys and girls on separate sides. And they would talk through the fence all the time. And
How old were they when they met?
They would think like 19 or something, 18. And they started this relationship. And then they got out. They found each other again and got married. But I wanted to ask, like, did you guys ever do anything sexually through the
through the fence?
I mean, were there moments of like, yeah, let's get turned on? You know?
Well, I mean, Jesus, why not?
Yeah, I mean, you're there.
Yeah.
I just wonder if those urges are still there in those horrible moments.
They have. I mean, listen, I'm sure they are. Especially if you're 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. 19.
The craziest thing amongst all the crazy, awful things about the Holocaust is that it wasn't that long ago, man. It was not that. I mean, my grandfather was in the war.
Yeah.
He was Italian. He got caught in I mean, my grandfather did something in life that I'll never do something this great. He did it for our family. They saw Jewish guys. You had 2 dog tags. You were given, and anyone with a Jewish name, the German soldiers would pull him out because he got captured in the Battle of the Bulge. And they didn't know exactly what was going on, but they knew it wasn't good, And so this one guy we befriended had a real obvious sounding Jewish name. My grandfather's name was Caprio, obviously Italian, And you could get in trouble if you just had 1 dog tag because they thought maybe you gave it to somebody. So my grandfather gave the guy one of his dog tag. He got rid of his 2, and the guy it said Caprio, and the guy got pulled out of the line. And my grandfather's watching this, and he looks up at him, and
this is a Jewish guy.
Yeah, and he let him back in the line.
Wow.
And he never went back to my grandfather. So the guy was from Pittsburgh, and
over dog tag.
He got out, and he lived a full life.
And that's why rappers wore dog tags in the 90s to give it up for your grandfather.
Yeah, and my grandfather was real. They wanted him to speak about it or write book. Like, the guy wanted to. He was really humble about it. He goes, no, that's not. He was very anti-rah-rah, my grandfather, but he wouldn't even say I probably saved his life. They didn't say probably saved his life. When the family was like sending us stuff. He was so my family.
Well, how did he feel about it? Just you had to do it.
Say it again.
How did he feel about it? If not,
he just felt it was the right thing to do. Yeah. And then he came out and would work 3 jobs to go to like a night school, and
that's the crazy thing. They came home and weren't just heroes. They just were like, back to your normal life.
Right. Never had any money in life, but enough to support his family, and just a better human being than I am.
Someday I'm going to survive this war, and I'm going to have kids. I'm going to have grandchildren. They're going to get super addicted to coke.
Well, listen. I mean, in a way, I've had a lot of fun in life too. A lot of goofing off, but in a way,
I guess he earned your goofing off.
Listen, me and you talk about the life we have. We won the lottery, man. We're comedians.
Sure.
Living at this. Look what we're doing. This is a weekday. And
it's hard to get here by 2 p.m.
I know. I'm yelling at people in traffic. I'm like, this guy's probably going to build a deck or something. I made more money the last theater I played a couple of weeks ago than my father and grandfather made in a year. Yeah. And he in a way he did all that so I could be a screw up and make money doing it. I'm very lucky. I could not exist anywhere else but America. No,
Yeah.
Yeah. This is it's fun. My salary the last year on Stern was $900,000 a year.
God damn.
And I that was like base salary because I would triple that in stand up. Those were the days of wine and roses, man. But one day, Dave Navarro was dating Carmen Electra, and he came into the show, and we used to play this thing called anal ring toss, where a chick would put a stick in her, and I would throw the ring like at a corner. And Navarro said, if you beat me in that, because he said I'm good at that, you could squeeze Carmen's breast, and she was cool with it. So I beat him, of course.
Yeah,
got bass player for Jane's Addiction.
Why is it going to be athletic?
Way more coordinated. I go, dude, pick an American sport. I don't care if you're thinner than I am. Stickball, you'll never get up.
Did you get to do it?
Okay. So she goes, fine, real cool. I had to do it over the bra, but I squeezed her bra. I'm squeezing her breast. And we're laughing about it. I get home that day, 20 voicemails from my buddies going to build like an addition to a house in freezing cold weather. Like, you mother F. You were dumber than me in high school.
Yeah.
$900K a year. I
go, doing that?
Yeah.
For squeezing Carmen Electra's boobs?
Don't let me see you.
Don't let me see that much. If I see you, I'll kill you. Yeah.
Don't let me see you Thanksgiving.
All right, I guess we're done.
Yeah. Well, I hope these people enjoyed it. I don't know.
This is Nick Dawson from Talkhouse Film, and you've been listening to Ari Shaffir and Artie Lange on the Talkhouse Film podcast. This episode was engineered by Elia Einhorn and edited by Mark Yoshizumi. For more filmmakers talking film and TV, visit thetalkhouse.com/film. Subscribe to Talkhouse Film and Talkhouse Music podcasts on iTunes, where you can find all our previous episodes. And while you're there, please rate and review if you can.